Hi ladies, welcome to my webinar. If you don't know me, I am Milos, the head coach at Fortius, and today I'll be breaking some common misconceptions when it comes to female fitness. I'll be also sharing some expert fitness tips that you can use on your transformation journey. The amount of information that I will share with you today is just about 2-3% of everything that is present in my beach body training guide. So whether if you're a beginner, advanced, or even if you're a fitness professional yourself, make sure you stay until the end of this webinar because you will learn a lot. You should also stay until the end because I prepared a mind-blowing offer for you. Now, before I start breaking some common misconceptions when it comes to female fitness, I want to tell you the story that basically inspired me to focus on female fitness and that led me to actually write this beach body training guide. It was a couple of years ago. I was in my hometown in Serbia. It was spring and everyone was preparing for the summer season. The gym was full. I was doing the last set of dumbbell curls when I looked into the mirror and I saw just a few steps behind me, this beautiful girl passed out. I ran to her, grabbed her, and she was completely white and drenched in cold sweat. Once she became a bit more aware of her surrounding, I asked her what happened, and to my big surprise, she burst into tears. Once she relaxed a little bit, she started telling me her story. The girl was preparing for this summer vacation in Mykonos. If you don't know, Mykonos is one of the main party places in Greece. She trained really hard. She managed to lose 2 kgs in a very short time frame. But then she stopped getting further results. She was training every day, doing fasted cardio in the morning, weights in the afternoon. She basically had only 1 day off per week. I listened to her and I really felt her pain. I told her that I understand her goal and that I really respect her desire and motivation to work hard, but the way she was doing it was completely wrong. She hit the wall and she hit it hard. From that day onwards, I started really noticing this pattern when it comes to female and their approach to fitness. They had the desire, motivation was there, they wanted to work hard, but they kept failing over and over again. That really inspired me to focus on this thing and this problem. I tried to answer it in as many ways as possible, approaching it from different aspects every single time. I started doing a lot of research. I researched about the female body, about female anatomy, female physiology, and female psychology. I was fortunate enough to have amazing teachers at my university that made me work really hard. I was also fortunate enough to have subjects like the human anatomy, physiology, and psychology, which really helped me understand the differences between males and females, which helped me create specific workouts program for the specific gender, which I feel is often something that trainers lack when they are working with their clients. They use the same system for both genders, which is not the right way to do things. So basically, all the years of experience that I've accumulated in the past, I decided that I have to come up with a simplified guide that will help you ladies get the results you want. This was the missing link, and I know that with this link, we would be able to transform the lives of thousands of women all around the world. This brings me back to the topic of today's webinar, which is training purely focused on physique development. Now, we know that training is only one of the key components. The other one is recovery. In recovery, we have nutrition, supplementation, and sleep. Now, these are really broad topics, so we'll be covering them in one of the future webinars once I've done with writing the nutrition guide for females. Now, let's talk about some common misconceptions when it comes to females and how they approach fitness. If you don't squat, you're wasting time. A lot of people put the squat on this pedestal and rank it as the #1 exercise out there. And don't get me wrong, I love the squat. It is one of the best exercises, but not for everyone. Depending on your biomechanics, the length of your legs, your hip mobility and your ankle mobility, and what you're feeling when you do the squat might be an amazing exercise for you, or it might be an exercise that you should never do in your life. And ladies, one thing that you should know, you might never squat in your life and you can still have an amazing physique. In my beach body training guide, I will give you detailed instructions on how to choose the best exercises based on your own biomechanics. Another common misconception that females have is if it burns, it means it works. Although it is really important to feel the working muscle and to have good muscle-mind connection, still, we know that mechanical tension is the best thing for muscle growth and to shape your muscles. And that means the amount of load that you are carrying. So let's say if you take a very light bar, 8 to 10 kilos, and you do, let's say, a stiff leg deadlift movement for about 20 reps, you're going to feel burn in your hamstrings if you do it the right way. But if you load the bar, you put more weight, and you do less reps, you might not feel your muscle that much, but you're getting a much better stimulus than when working with very low weights. So feel free to add some more weights when you're doing the exercises, as long as you maintain proper form. This brings me to another common misconception that I feel that so many females have. They are afraid of bulking from using weights. Now, scientifically, that's impossible. We know now that if the nutrition and the training is optimal, it's perfect, you can put max 100 to 150 grams of muscle per month. So what happens then? Why do females feel like they're bulked suddenly? The number one thing is, when you start training, you start eating more because you feel like, okay, I'm exercising now, I can increase my calories. So you start overeating, and therefore you start adding on fat tissue. So you're actually not putting on muscle, you're putting on fat, and that's why you feel that you're bigger. The other thing is, all females have a menstrual cycle. So sometimes your body weight might fluctuate 3 to 4 kilos depending on the week in your menstrual cycle that you are in. Also, your sodium intake might affect how much water you retain. If you go out with your friends, you have a high sodium meal, you will retain more water in the next few days. Also, another thing that is interesting, it's something called cell swelling. When you start to exercise, your muscles are training, and that causes some type of inflammation. That's why you might feel like you're bulking a little bit, but that inflammation will go away within 2-3 weeks, and you will get back to normal. So don't worry, ladies, there is no way you will bulk overnight. There is no way you can put muscles in such a short time frame. Another common misconception is, if I don't sweat and if I'm not out of breath, I'm not working hard enough. Now, ladies, we need to know that the main purpose of training is not to burn as many calories as we can, because our body is really intelligent. So even if you burn 1,000 calories, your body is going to start to be hungry. It's going to force you into overeating and making up for those calories. Or even if you resist, if you're so strong, eventually it will slow down your metabolism. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens as time goes. That's why the priority in training should be to stimulate the muscle, to improve posture, and to get stronger over time. Then we use nutrition to take care of these other things. Now, inside the Beachbody Training Guide, you will be able to learn everything you need to know about rest periods. Now, I have to mention another common misconception that most females have, and that's the fact that they believe that every female should have a different program. That's not entirely correct. So we are talking about physique training now, and we are talking about healthy females. The main exercises are the same, the assistant exercises are the same. We have the same goal, which is getting stronger over time. We have the same goal to increase volume over time. In situations where the exercises will differ slightly is when we have completely different biomechanics. So for some females, the squat might not be ideal, then they might implement the leg press. For some ladies, the deadlift might not be ideal, they might implement the hyperextensions. But in most cases, the structure will be the same because we have the same goal, which is to get stronger over time. Again, if we have different body composition goals, then we are going to attack those by changing the cardio and by changing the nutrition. That will differ more. In cases when we really have to change the workout program is if we have someone who has an injury, postural deformity, or has a really stubborn or lagging body part. Then in those cases, the programs will differ. Now I want to move forward into sharing some really expert tips with you that you can use to optimize your training. The first one would be, go for least mode instead of beast mode. What does that mean? It means that when you start your training journey, you shouldn't go from 1 or 0 sessions a week into training every single day. That's really short term, and in the long run, you won't be able to sustain it. That's why I say, approach fitness as a thing that you need to do until the end of your life. Because the moment we stop, we start degrading. That's why we need to constantly move and constantly exercise. So least mode would be, for example, 2 to 3 sessions a week. It's the minimum amount of work that you need in order to maintain results and make small progress. Then, when you have periods of time when you can really push and you have the motivation at the time, then go into beast mode for about 3, 4, 5, or 6 weeks. Work hard, push yourself, and then go back to least mode. But no matter what happens around you, no matter what happens within the family, work obligations, you have to be able to commit to doing the least mode. In the Beachbody Training Guide, I have prepared samples of workout programs for 2, 3, and 4 workouts per week. which you will be able to avail today. Another tip that I have for you is to program legs twice a week. We know now that higher frequency will have better effects on muscle toning and muscle building. Also, if you have a stubborn body part, you should program it more frequently. All you need to know about how often to program inside the workout program, you will be able to learn inside the Beachbody Training Guide, because I have added a bonus with detailed description and explanation how to program stubborn body parts. Let's keep going. I have more tips for you. Rest longer. Unlike males that like to take very long breaks, females are usually always in a rush because you prefer to be sweating more, to be out of breath, because you think that that way you're working more. Trust me, you need to take longer breaks because otherwise your performance is going to go down. In order for you to be able to lift the weights that you need and to do the number of reps set in and set out, you need to take enough rest for your body to recover. Otherwise your performance will be going down, as I said, and you'll have to reduce either the number of reps or the weight that you're carrying, which is not ideal. You are stronger than you think. Unlike most males that I tell them to leave their ego outside of the gym because they like to carry such heavy weights, and then they break their foam, they risk injury, and it doesn't look nice, and it's not effective. Females usually tend to think that they are weaker than they are. So next time, ladies, when you go to the gym, feel free to add some extra weight. I know you can do it. I almost forgot to mention another common misconception that females have. You ladies often think that with a specific exercise you can burn belly fat or fat from a specific area of the body. It doesn't work that way. When you're training, if your body fat is going down, it will go down all over your body. And it will go down more in specific parts of the body depending on your genes and your hormones. So not the specific exercise that you're doing. So for example, if you do abs every single day, let's say 1,000 crunches a day, it doesn't mean that you will be burning more belly fat. On the other side, what's going to happen? You might shorten your hip flexors, which is not great. It might impact your posture in a bad way. And what's the worst thing that can happen? You might even expand your waist, and that's not something that we want. Another tip that I want to give you, especially if you're a beginner, or for example, you struggle with feeling a certain muscle, always before you head into a compound movement, let's say you're doing a squat, and you want to focus on your quads and glutes, but you don't feel your glutes really. Do an isolation exercise, a more simple exercise like, for example, the hip abduction machine or a banded side-to-side steps, because that will help you to activate the working muscle, feel the burn, get some blood flow, pump some blood into the working muscle. Then when you go into the compound movement like the squat, it will be better for you because it will be easier for you to feel the muscle that you're targeting. Same thing, for example, if you want to work the hamstrings with a stiff leg deadlift, you might benefit if you first do a few lighter sets with an isolation like a hamstring curl, or for example, some hamstring walkouts. That type of exercise is also good. And then after that, you go into the compound movement and you do the stiff leg deadlift, and I guarantee you that you will get much better sensation from that exercise. You should not train the same intensity every week. As we know, you ladies have your menstrual cycle, which means after you get your period, in the first 2 weeks, your performance is at the highest level. The third week, also you have a pretty high performance level, which means in those 3 weeks, you need to work really hard. Don't miss any sessions. Train as hard as you can. Then, when the fourth week comes, usually your performance goes down. You become a bit more emotional. Your cravings go up. That week you should use as kind of a maintenance or deload week. Even if you skip a session, it's not the end of the world. So make sure you understand the menstrual cycle, how it goes, and use it in that way. First 3 weeks train hard, 1 week maintenance, and then keep repeating the cycle. That way you will get much better results and you will be able to maintain consistency for a longer period of time. These are some of the expert tips that I wanted to share with you today. And I hope you will use them because I know that will help you on your transformation journey. Now let's get a bit into the process of how I was writing this book and everything that you will be able to see inside the Beachbody Training Guide. So the first thing that I started to write was the exercise library, in which I have over 60 different exercises that I like to use with my personal and online clients. You will be able to see pictures as well as detailed explanation on how to perform these exercises correctly. Once I finished with the library, I started getting so many different ideas. I couldn't literally stop writing one idea after the other. And I knew that with experience that I've accumulated over the past years, I had the ability to come up with the missing link for you ladies. I knew that all the material present in the Beachbody Guide will help you transform the way you see fitness and the way you train. As I continued writing, I went from the exercise library, as I mentioned, and then I started writing about choosing the right exercises according to your biomechanics, which in simple word means that not all exercises are amazing for everyone. Based on your biomechanics, some exercises will be excellent and some will not be that great. So this section of the book will explain you in details how to choose the ideal exercises based on the way you are built. Then after that, I went into writing about the resistance curve and the strength curve of certain exercises, which basically in simple terms means what exercise might be ideal for you according to how it targets the muscle that you want to train. So all you need to know about the ideal exercise, you can also find in the Beachbody Training Guide. Because let me tell you something, ladies. For each muscle, you have over 20, 30, even 50 different exercises. But if you have 5 of those that are ideal and optimal, why would you use the other ones and waste your time? So please make sure you get the book at the end of this webinar, because you will learn a lot and you will understand why it is not so wise to keep constantly changing your program. Rather focus on nailing those few exercises that are optimal for physique development. Then I went into details explaining the fatigue to stimulus ratio, which basically in simple words explains you how certain exercises affect your muscles, but also affect your central nervous system. So some exercises are more tiring than others. So depending on what program you have, it would be wise to know that, because then some exercises you might not program day in and day out. You might make a longer gap if you need more time to recover, for example. That is really important to know. Otherwise, fatigue can kick in, and we might start seeing diminished returns, and we might hit a plateau much earlier than what we need. After that, I started writing about frequency, volume, and intensity, and how to progress those in order to keep getting results in a long period of time and not hit a plateau. This is crucial, because we don't want to overtrain and then after 2-3 weeks not be able to progress. We want to keep progressing over a long period of time. That's so important when it comes to training periodization, and you will be able to see all of that and learn all of that inside the Beachbody Training Guide. Then I went into program samples, and I wrote samples of 2, 3, and 4 weekly session programs, which you'll be able to get at the end of this webinar and start even today. And remember one thing, ladies, I'm selling one program on my website for approximately $300 per month. Then I went into details explaining different muscle stimulus. I explained what metabolic work means, what mechanical tension means, and I gave you a thorough guide how you can judge your workouts, whether they were effective and good, and how to judge whether an exercise is good for you or not. I also added a special bonus for you ladies that will help you estimate whether you are fast or slow twitch muscle fiber. This is important because I feel like not many trainers address this, and I feel this might be the gold nugget which will help you get amazing results in your workout routines. I went deep into explaining time under tension, and also I gave guidance on which tempo you should use in your workouts. Lastly, I wanted to add one more bonus for you ladies, and that is a detailed guide on how to program for a lagging or stubborn body part. So in case you have, for example, trouble growing your hamstrings, or you have trouble activating and growing your glutes, inside the Beachbody Training Guide, you will have a thorough guide that will help you understand how to program for those body parts and how to get maximum results out of your workout program. These are the main outlines that are present inside the Beachbody Training Guide. Now ladies, since you've been with me until the end of this webinar, I'm finally ready to reveal the special offer that I've created only for you. As you know, everything that I said so far represents only about 2-3% of everything that is inside the Beachbody Training Guide, and you will be able to get it all today for as low as $9. Yes, you heard it right. Because you watched the webinar, because you signed up and you committed, I know that you're the type of person that I want to work with, and that's why I've created this special offer just for you for today. The book is sold on my website for $39, which means that you'll be able to get it for 77% off the original price. That means that you'll be getting this ebook for the price of a milkshake. And one more thing, ladies, that's not the only thing you will get. For the price of $9, you will also get access to my private Fortius female support group, in which myself and my trainers will be sharing dieting tips, training tips, and we'll be answering your questions to help you on your transformation journey. And that's not everything. I have another gift for you. You'll be getting a special code that you can use to get 20% off all our services on our website until the end of the year. Now, the old things that I'll be giving you for $9 are worth more than the $39 on my website, but not just that, they're worth 100 times more. And let me give you an explanation why. I've studied for 3 years to become an expert for fitness and conditioning. I've studied the human body and how to help people transform their lives. I worked in 4 countries as a personal trainer: Serbia, Iceland, Norway, and United Arab Emirates. So I've basically helped over hundreds of females get the results they want. I worked with females of different ages, different abilities, different body compositions. Now I have used all that knowledge and experience that I've accumulated over the past 10 years to write the simplified beach body training guide, which will help you transform the way you view female fitness, and it will help you get the results you want in under 2-3 hours. Ladies, I know you will not miss the opportunity to get this amazing product that is worth a vacation in the Maldives for as low as the price of a vanilla milkshake. Oh, I don't know why I said vanilla, but now you know my favorite flavor. Ladies, I know you're ready for the transformation. I know you want to work with me, and I want to work with you. So make sure you click on the link to join my tribe, and I'll see you in the Facebook group.